Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Josh. Welcome back to another toy review, and today we're here to take a look at the Ultra Monster Series number 115, Takkong. And yeah, for sure, just by looking at his appearance, you could definitely tell we got another weird one on our hands, which is of course great, considering that this is of course another classic kaiju based on the Ultraman series. This one is specifically first appeared in the fourth entry, Return of Ultraman, and he appeared in both episodes 1 and 2. And I'm gonna go a little bit over that just in a little bit. I mean, like, where do I really start with this guy? And the only reason I'm saying that it's because originally I was debating over whether if I should review him first or Armstrong, because even though he appeared in the first episode, he didn't really fight Ultraman Jack until the second one, which is episode 2. It's literally called Takkong's Great Counterattack. And for the most part, honestly, I try to look up the lore. I still don't really get what he's supposed to be. I'm assuming he's supposed to be some sort of weird pufferfish type creature. But the only thing that's really known about him is that he's supposed to be an oil monster. So yeah, that also explains sort of his bizarre, kind of gruesome design, the fact that he got holes and pores everywhere. So without a doubt, he's definitely very unique. But without a doubt, this is one of the few figures that I least expect Bandai to bring back. I remember being so shocked with the fact that they managed to make a figure of him, and you guys know how I am with classic kaiju's. Uh, as much as I love the new Ultraman monsters now, of course, you still gotta appreciate some of the ones from back in the day as well. So of course, back to appearances. So even though he first appeared, like in the first episode or so, he actually didn't, like I said, he didn't really fight Ultraman Jack yet. He was actually fighting against another monster called Zazarn, which is like a giant muck monster, like a creature made of slime. Or like muck or so green stuff. But of course it was one of those like one-off kind of creatures, so I doubt that specific monster will ever make a reappearance. But what I also want to note too is that Takkong I'm trying to think of another kaiju too that was in the same situation. He was one of those kaijus where like he only appeared one time and then that was about it, you know? And you could definitely tell even from the tag they give him a lot of appreciation because this is definitely a much more updated picture of him. Of course, this is him from Ultraman Taiga, Taiga, where he would reappear once again. But what's ironic is that he was actually a good guy in this episode. He was actually the innocent creature in this situation. I can't really say the same for Ultraman Decker though. I think he did reappear again in that version as well. But he was of course a bad guy like before, so yeah, it's like if nothing changed at all. But that's kind of an interesting thing to kind of go by. I just love this picture. Like before we talk about the toy, like he's like legit flying. Like I try to go through like this image and stuff like that, and if you kind of squint a little bit, maybe ignore all this text going on, they just straight up just put a picture of him like in the sky, which I guess is relevant to the episode he appeared in Ultraman Taiga because he literally was like like legit. He was like legit flying around, but I wouldn't really say flying, but I don't really want to call it gliding either. I guess he was just swooping by because obviously I guess because of that weird puffiness that he got, the way with his design and just how weird and bizarre he is. A little bit on the comedic side, of course, even though Ultraman Taiga, it's kind of weird. It's not a comedy. They have their fair share of like weird, funny moments, and the reason why I'm mentioning that because of course Taiga is the son of Toro, and we all know that Ultraman Toro was not a very serious show for the most part. Unlike Return of Ultraman, which was of course trying to be at least a little serious. I mean, I don't know if it was this creature. I would assume, yeah. I would assume yes. I don't remember. He is kind of the reason, for the death of I'm gonna screw up his name so bad. It's the guy who becomes Ultraman Jack. Hideki Go. Hideki Go. Oh man, I feel so bad. Let's move on to the review before I start butchering people's names because I really don't want to do that. But of course, like I say, I mean, without a doubt, his design is like complimentary for the most part. It's like, damn, you want to talk so much about how weird it is, but it's like so unique. He's like the definition of art for sure. And I do love a lot that Bandai was able to, of course, capture that likeness, despite the very, very obvious issue that the biggest thing that's holding this figure back is the paint. because as you can tell from a good majority of the figure, it is mostly a sort of dark brown color. And it's not that appealing to look at because as you can see when you look through his pores or his holes, I don't even know what to really call them. All I know is that he shoots oil out of them. And even then, I don't even think that's accurate. They're all supposed to be red. Like the ones on top of here, they're all supposed to be painted a red color. But as you can see, they are all not. And I guess at least they kind of gave a little bit of a shit when they were painting this part brownish or so, but even then it's still not 100% accurate, so I'm trying my best not to complain because like I said, this is a kaiju that I least expected Bandai to really bring back. Same goes for Subaraya, where Takkong pretty much only appeared in Return of Ultraman, and then that's about it. Maybe he did reappear again in other entries, but for the most part, not that I could really think of. But of course, he would come back in, 2019, 2020's Ultraman Taiga, and then Ultraman Z, and now he's a little bit of a main staple kaiju, meaning we could definitely see a lot more of him in the future. But, just I kind of point that out there. And I'm gonna just look straight at this boy. This big, fat, chubby boy. Look at that. Even his face, too. It's not even at all. I had to keep, like, messing with my set a little bit because I kept wondering if it was just me. But no. Intentionally, his face is, like, slightly tilted a little bit, but not too much. I'm gonna zoom a little bit more closer to his very, very tiny face. I mean, like, really tiny. I am very surprised that the people making these figures, they were able to still capture that likeness very, very well. I mean, look at my finger, of course, and my thumb, just compared to how tiny his face is. First of all, how does this guy eat? Let me not. He probably eats other kaiju's or something. I don't know. And of course, you see all the nice wrinkles and the roughness of the skin. Texturing, without a doubt, is spot on. They get it. They get the idea pretty much right away. you know. And in case you're wondering, he is on the squishy side, just a tiny bit, not by much, but he's oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, you could definitely get some squishiness on there. I mean, it is made of a soft vinyl plastic, and by soft, I mean it's like the material, kind of varies. Like I say, some figures are on the softer side, but some of them are on the harder one. So of course, don't be a little bit too rough with these figures. At least the good thing about them is that if they fall off your shelf or something, they don't cause too much damage. But I do apologize for changing my brightness so much. I just want to capture, as much of the details I can with the figure because, like I say, the only biggest problem with it is the paint. I mean, it's like this is all supposed to be painted red, so it's like it's such a huge eyesore. I mean, I get it. If you pose them on your shelf, you're not gonna pose them facing this way. You're gonna want them to pose straight forward. So it only makes sense. I don't know why you would want to do that. You know what I mean? So I get it, but at the same time, still kind of weird. And I know like in the past, but like we're talking like years and years ago, maybe early 2000s. I don't know. I know that there was another Ultraman toy line before the Ultra 500 series or the Ultra Safubi line, where they did made a Takkong figure that was fully painted and stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say that figure is more better than this one because what I like is that this one at least slightly more accurate detail wise. But of course, if you take a look at that other figure, you'll kind of get what I mean. The only way I can really describe it is that if you look it up online, you can kind of see the differences between paint because he's missing a lot. I mean, it's like the least they could have done is at least painted more of the front area. I don't know why they decided to only leave just a little bit of it, which is kind of ironic considering that most Ultra figures nowadays, at least some of them, not all of them, but sometimes they do got their backs unpainted, and as you can see, this figure does suffer from that a lot, where it's just a completely dark brown color. Also, now I just noticed he's a little bit on the uneven side, although I can't tell if that's just how he is or if it's because of his articulation, because he only has about 3. So, this is extremely useless, but I guess I might as well show it anyway. His tiny little thin hands actually does move full 360, both of them, where these weird wrinkly little, I don't know what you, this is a sad excuse for fingers. How the hell was he able to kick Ultraman's ass? I have no idea. And then of course you got the waist, which No, it does. That looks really weird. Okay. I mean, well, not as weird as this, but you get it. It looks honestly, it looks like an elephant. It looks like a dead ass elephant. Okay, that's funny. Okay, so at least you can move that kind of sort of full 360, but not really. It's a little bit rough around the edge. And that's about it. Underneath, you got this is Bandai right here. Well, no, not Bandai. It says China, but you get the idea. Be China. Hiya, China. And then wrinkles and all that. Very well detailed figure, at least. With the only downside is the paint, but it is what it is. And of course, the tail is just one solid piece. It does not move at all. It's just pretty much glued on there, which is, I still don't know the science behind it, but I guess it is what it is. Because I remember at some kind of event they did show like a little bit of the process of sort of how it goes, but obviously they only showed it for the Ultramans. They didn't really show it for some of the other creatures. Speaking of creatures, for our final part of the review, let's take a look at some other figures. So here he is compared to Armstrong. Just kind of give you a good idea side by side. They actually do look very nice side by side together. It kind of makes me wish we got the Swamp Monster too, but it is what it is. It's not a huge deal. And I get it. These are both mostly popular characters, so I get that sometimes that's kind of Bandai's sort of direction. They want to be able to do like those popular kaijus first and all that, because they do release one of the more weirder, crazier ones when you least expect it. So cross your fingers. You never know. But for the most part, this is just how they look, So you got bootleg Godzilla right next to a giant weird pufferfish oil thingy. And of course, this is, well, not the next review. It's going to be the review after. The next toy review, it's actually going to be Leatherhead from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem film. This is going to be, like I said, this is going to be the next figure I'm going to film because I already gave you guys sort of the schedule. I'm going to do like Ultraman, Ninja Turtle, Ultraman, Ninja Turtle, Ultraman, Ninja Turtle toy reviews. That's kind of how I'm doing it right now. And I'm kind of putting the Marvel Legends stuff aside just for now. And I guess now that we're here, let's compare it to other stuff. And I guess, as a little bit of a bonus. Yeah, sure, let's compare it to Guy Strong, which is like the, like super powered version of Armstrong. I guess I could do this little side comparison real quick just to kind of give you guys an idea. Basically, he was kind of like the a-hole, the big bully, and then Tiger came in and kicked his ass, and Takkong was like, whatever, all that shit, right? Yeah, so of course, kind of weird how they kind of size pretty well together, but whatever. Two different genres, two different toy lines. Let's not get too carried away. Let's get the big boy back, in order. Give him the nice spot right here, because here he is compared to Ultraman Jack. And yeah, but I think you guys already know how I feel about the size comparison, so I'm not gonna complain too much. I rather have a figure, like, I mean, you're gonna hear me say this 100 times. I rather have a figure that looks accurate towards the character than have like good sizing and then like bad quality and like bad paint or like bad design. I mean, don't get me wrong, paint job definitely hurts this figure a lot, so I'm gonna have to give it kind of a low score, but I still suggest getting it. It's still pretty cool. And Ultraman Jack does ultimately looks really nice. And then, of course, he has to kick his ass and kill him. So that's the only sad thing. But, of course, well, for now, that's about it, really. So, yeah. Oops, sorry about that. I was just getting his tag ready. So, yeah, there you go. So, final verdict for the figure. So, what do I think? I mean, I'm very, very happy that this guy was able to get his own figure. So that's something that I had to definitely kind of compliment it on. I would have given it maybe a 7 out of 10, but I'll give it an 8 out of 10. While the design, the aesthetic, it captures it very nicely though, and he does look really nice. But the only downside, the biggest issue, obviously, is the lack of paint, which definitely hurts the figure a lot. And it's very obvious too, especially when you compare his picture towards the final thing. And even if you look back at how he looked like when he first appeared, it wasn't even that bad. So it is pretty weird that they decided to kind of go with that, but it is what it is, I guess. I mean, not exactly sure how that goes because you're going to have your variety of different Ultraman figures that are either painted really nicely to perfection or some of them that are pretty lacking. And trust me, eventually we will get to that. But until then, thank you guys for enjoying the review. So yeah, like I say, the next toy review next week, next Wednesday, it's going to be a Ninja Turtle figure for Leatherhead. So besides that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the videos. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and that's about it. So see ya.